We started our course home, scroll down to your content browser, click on the video unit, and we're going to click on the Walking Through a Wall folder. You'll notice there's two video files here, Maya and the wall. Download those, then you can move them to your desktop if you want, or if you're able to find them through the downloads folder, that's awesome. Next we're going to open up our Motion, and here we have our two videos. The first one we're going to take is the wall video. We're going to bring it into our first group here, and then we're going to grab the Maya video and bring it underneath the wall video. Now let's rename our group here video. There we go. And if we watch this, nothing happens, which is alright. If we go back to the beginning and we uncheck the wall, we'll see Maya is there behind. Okay, so what we want to do now is find the point about where we would imagine she would walk through the wall. So let's say right about here. So at this point, we can probably safely assume that she's walked through the wall. Now, it's really important that we have our wall layer selected. Now, it doesn't have to be visible. Actually, we don't want it visible, so make sure that it's unchecked. Make sure that our wall layer is unchecked but selected. Now, just like we did with the teleportation video, we want to come here and we're going to add, so click and hold, and then we're going to add a B-spline mask. Now, when we're here, we see that our icon, our cursor, looks like a pen with 3 dots on it. So again, just like before, we're going to scroll down. Our first point has to be off the screen, so in this black area. And now we're going to follow the contour of her body. And we may want to change this to 100% so that we can be fairly precise. You're going to go around the body and click the dots. Again, we can adjust these afterwards, but it's better if we start by being fairly precise. So we're going to continue to go around the body. Again, you don't want too many dots, but you do want to make sure that you cover the body fairly well. So now, again, our last point here, we're going to make sure that we're off the screen again, and now we're going to come to our first dot. Our cursor changes to a pen with a circle beside it, and we close off our shape. So there we have our mask. And we can zoom back out if we want. Okay, now if mask is complete, we can check on our wall here, our wall video, and you'll notice she disappears. So what we need to do is we need to, again, click on your B-spline mask layer, go to your inspector. We need to check the box beside invert mask. And now we'll see that she appears through the wall. What we're going to do is we're going to have to work our way backwards and adjust our mask. So you'll see the mask stays in place. So we're going to use keyframes and we're going to adjust the points on our mask to make it look as if she's appearing out of the wall. So we're in our initial location, we're on our mask, we are in the inspector under the mask tab. Now what we'll do is we'll add a keyframe right here. And what that will do is it'll lock in all of these points. Now we're going to have to work backwards in time, so using our keys, so our arrows, we're going to go to the left a few frames. Now you'll notice she's moving and kind of being blocked off by our mask. So what we need to do is right click in here and choose edit points so that we can see all of our points again. Now we're going to zoom back in. Now by moving, so I want you to pay attention to the keyframe here. You'll notice that by moving some of these points, it starts to add keyframes. So the nice and easy thing is we don't have to go through each of these points and add and click the button to add keyframes. We just have to move our mask to go around her. So we're going to move these points so we can reveal a little bit of her face. We want to make sure that her face is revealed, but we're going to start by hiding some of her body a little bit so that it looks as if she's coming out of the wall. So you're going to go through and change these points, cover her body just a little bit. We're going to start covering the arms and the hands. Bringing these points in. And now it's important to think about how she would appear coming through the wall. And if you think of what would come first through the wall, would probably be a person's face. So we want to make sure that we're going to keep her face clear until the last moment, and that's when we're going to kind of hide that. So again, we're working backwards in time, so we want to slowly hide her. So again, we're going to go maybe 3 or 4 or 5 frames towards the left in our timeline, and now we're going to keep hiding her a little bit more. We're bringing these points in a little bit closer on her body. Oops. And so these points keep coming in. We're hiding a little bit more each time of her body. See the mask, we're revealing the wall behind her. So it's as if she's coming through the wall. Again, feel free to, you don't have to have perfect shapes, right? It doesn't have to be perfectly linear. It's going to be there. Good. There, so we've got more of her body covered up. Now we're going to go back, again, a few more points. And again, let's keep covering her up, but let's keep her face exposed. So maybe we cover a bit more of the hairline, but we're going to keep those eyes the eyes and the nose will be the last part of the body to be covered up. Maybe just leave her face this time. Now we're going to start bringing these in a lot closer. Keep scrolling down and bringing these together as if the wall is just enveloping her. Okay, so she's almost disappeared. So now we're going to go back maybe a few more frames. And again, now let's just leave her eyes and nose. And we'll have maybe everything else completely covered up. And finally, we're going to close off her face. So we will bring all these points together. And again, if you want, you can zoom in a little bit closer so you can be even more precise. Okay, good. So now if we zoom back out to maybe our 50%, you can see that she's pretty much disappeared. So if we just click in the box here and we watch, right, we have our video, and now we can see she's walking through the wall. Okay, so we've got the general shape and positioning of our mask. What we need to do though is we notice here, right, when we're beginning, there's still some of her showing through. So what we need to do, okay, so at this point we have found where our mask ends, right? So it causes us some problems, and here's our original point with our mask. What we need to do now is we need to move our wall layer, right? So we're going to select wall down here, this video. We're going to go to the end. We're going to click and drag it so that it goes to that point. So that now, when we watch it, there, the wall is no longer there, and we only see Maya having walked through the wall. So this looks pretty good. There's still a little bit of fine tuning that we can do. So if we go to our mask, again here, we're going to click on the mask tab in the inspector, and we're going to add some feathering. So again, just to kind of smooth out a little bit, or some of the sharp edges, we're going to allow some feathering. So again, you'll kind of find what you want, but you'll notice, maybe in the 15 to maybe 20, 25 range, you'll notice it allows, some fading a little bit so that the edges aren't quite so sharp. The other thing you can play around with is the fallout. So you can, and this will just smooth out that edge a little bit. You can maybe go into the negative for this. So now if we watch our video from this point, there, we have just had Maya walk through a wall. You can now go to share, upload your video to YouTube, and then put it into the Dropbox. Good job.